Hello and welcome into this week's ARCA Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's ARCA Rewind show, as you can see, things look a bit different. We've changed up the set a little bit. Hopefully you like what you see here. We get to showcase some cool little collectibles a little bit more than we did before. And yeah, I think things look a lot better here. Let me know what you think as to how things look here, how we can maybe improve it going forward. But I think this looks great, so hopefully you do too. So on today's ARCA Rewind show, we're looking back at Friday's General Tire hashtag Anywhere Is Possible 280 laps. 200 miles around the 2.5 mile Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Now, before the race even started, we had 3 withdrawals from this race that were on the initial entry list. Initially, the 0 of Con Nicolopoulos was entered. That car did not make it to the race. Neither did the 09 of CJ McLaughlin or the 46 of Thad Moffitt. We only had 1 caution flag in this race. That came at lap number 29 as the 5 of Bobby Gerhardt stopped in the short chute. That was the only caution in the entire race, and it looked like this race was going to be run away with by Riley Herbst. He led 68 laps total in this race, the first 68 laps, all from the pole, from the outside pole. But then on the final pit stop, Ty Majeski ends up playing some pit strategy, getting off of pit road quicker in green flag pit stops, and takes the lead on lap number 69. And Ty Majeski would lead the final 12 laps on his way to his second victory in a row in the ARCA Series, beating out Riley Herbst, who I think a lot of us would agree had the fastest car on the day. I didn't think anybody was going to be able to touch Ty Majeski in this race, and somehow Majeski was able to come out with the win here over Herbst. It was just absolutely incredible the way he was able to do it. And the fact that he's got 2 wins in a row now in 12 starts is just, it's mind-boggling. We talked with him after Charlotte about how terrible of a 2018 he had running that part-time schedule in the 60 car for Roush Fenway and Xfinity. He needed a high note this year to kind of get his career back on track. Not only has he got 1 high note, he's now got 2 high notes in a row, mind you. And he is looking really good right now. So we did catch up with him post-race. If you would like to see that, it is linked down below in the description, as well as post-race interviews with Christian Eckes, who finished 3rd here, as you can see. And then a Riley Herbst interview coming up as well. That'll be recorded here late morning on Sunday, so that should go up here early afternoon. If you are watching this after that, it will be linked down below in the description as well. If not, make sure your notifications are turned on and you will see when that interview comes out. So as we said, Riley Herbst comes home in the 2nd position, Christian Eckes in 3rd. Rafael Lessard makes his return. First time we've seen him in an ARCA car since the Pensacola race. He finished in 4th, final car on the lead lap. That is another testament to how strong Riley Herbst was in this race. Only 4 cars remaining on the lead lap at the end of the race, and that is saying something on a 2.5 mile track. That is a very tough task to do, to only leave 4 cars on the lead lap at the end of the race. On a 2.5 mile track and only 80 laps, that is an accomplishment. Brett Holmes rounds out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Harrison Burton. Haley Deegan in her first super speedway race comes home in the 7th position after starting in 4th. Joe Graff Jr. in 8th. Cole Glasson makes his debut in the 32 car for the 2019 season for Wintron Racing. He came home with a solid 9th place finish. And Travis Braden rounds out the top 10. Final page 11th through 18th. Michael Self just had a terrible day. Got started off awful. Had a flat tire very early, got put behind the 8 ball there, and never could recover. 4 laps down at the end of this one in 11th. He took a hit in the points, as we will see here coming up in a moment. Not a great day for that 25 team. Bobby Gerhart, we talked about his issue early in the race that brought out the only caution of the day. He came home in the 16th position. Tommy Vi Jr., one of our full-time drivers for this season. He had transmission issues early, only made 9 laps, and came home in the 17th position. All right, so that's your results from the General Tire hashtag Anywhere Is Possible 200. Like I said, post-race interviews linked down below in the description. We talked to Ty Majeski at the track and then got FaceTime interviews later with Riley Herbst and Christian Eckes, so they will be linked down below in the description if you would like to see those. So let's go on to the point standings following this race. Michael Self does still lead the points, but his lead has shrunk. It is now only 30 points over Brett Holmes, who has now moved into the 2nd position over Travis Braden. Braden drops to the 3rd spot. He now sits 55 points back in that 3rd position. Christian Eckes has cut into the lead just slightly. He has cut his deficit now down to 80 points there in the 4th position. And Joe Graf Jr. sits in the 5th position, now 135 points off of leader Michael Self. So definitely a little bit of moving this week. Brett Holmes really making a strong bid for the championship right now. If Michael Self has too much more bad luck here going forward, we could be talking about a serious championship contention out of Brett Holmes, and that would be very interesting to see. Out of the 5 full-time championship contending cars that we had coming into this season, I don't know that a lot of people would have picked Brett Holmes as their championship favorite. And I don't know that I would call him a championship favorite yet, but you get 1 or 2 more bad races for that 25 car, and you probably need a bad race or 2 out of Christian Eckes as well. Otherwise, he's just going to take Self's place up there at the top. You get another bad race or 2 out of those 2 Venturini cars, and all of a sudden, Brett Holmes is a serious championship contender, and that will be interesting to see going down the stretch here. And that's your point standings following the General Tire hashtag Anywhere Is Possible 200. We got an Xfinity and K&N Rewind coming up probably late morning, early afternoon here on Sunday. And then, of course, a Cup Rewind coming up Sunday evening following the Cup race. Probably no pole position this week. I'm thinking we're just scrapping that show at this point. View counts aren't that high, and so given that there's not been a lot of interest in it, I feel it's better just to let it go, and we're going to focus more on rewind shows and getting to the track, getting interviews for you from the track, because that seems to be what is getting the most appreciation around here. So, yeah, probably won't be a pole position on Monday. I'm thinking we're getting rid of that. But yes, rewind shows coming up. Xfinity, K&N, and Cup over the next 24 hours or so to get you caught up on those races if you missed out on any of that. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. We will be in Michigan this weekend on Friday with ARCA once again, so look forward to that and more at-the-track coverage for you coming up this weekend. But at that, this has been the ARCA Menard Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.